Here we are. It's week 16, and I will be talking about some of the top headlines involving the Arizona Cardinals this week. Let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Kelly Singh.
Murray heaves it downfield. It's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
The sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast. It's gonna be sick.
It's going to be sick. It's the holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's underway. Christmas is just this upcoming weekend. I've got some festive lights, a little Christmas decoration action happening in here. Trying to get in the spirit, right? I'm home for the holidays in Phoenix, and that's always exciting for me. However, it's not as exciting when our team is not performing. What can we do, right? It's nothing we can do. The Cardinals did lose to the Denver Broncos last week. And I mean, good for the Broncos, obviously. They needed a win. They needed a win bad. They have been performing just as poorly as the Cardinals, if not more poorly than the Cardinals. We lost by 9 points, which obviously is more than could be recovered in one possession. But what can you do? We didn't play that well. The only bright spot of that entire game was probably TJ Watt. Honestly, that was the most exciting part of that game, watching not TJ Watt. What am I saying? The most exciting part of that game was JJ Watt, watching him play and having a heck of a game. In fact, he was trolling a randomly selected performance enhancement drug test after his 3-sack game. That is a big time game for a defensive lineman like JJ Watt. He said sometimes athletes perform so well at a certain age that they have to be cheating, right? So JJ Watt felt like he after his 3-sack performance, he said he received a text message from Dylan on behalf of the NFL saying, "You have been selected for a PED urine test. Please report to the testing area at any point within 3 hours of this text." He said, "I think I've been randomly selected after every 3-sack game in my career." He was tweeting along, showing the text message, and going along with those 3 sacks, he also had 5 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 3 QB hits, 1 stuff, 1 forced fumble, and 1 pass deflection. That all happened within 54 snaps, which was 84% of the game. If you were wondering, JJ Watt is 6'5" and 280 pounds, and I certainly would not want to be on the other end of that. That is when the Cardinals had a 6-3 lead going into halftime. So it's been suspicious. Everybody's kind of trolling this random test. Wasn't so random. Also, when the week prior, Matthew Judon of the New England Patriots had gotten a similar call to the testing site after a strong season. So this seems to be pretty frequent. And it seems like the person texting leaves their first name. So I was confused by the Dylan part at first when JJ Watts texted, "This is Dylan from the NFL." The one Judon received, "This is Gary on behalf of the NFL." So I guess, it's the random text message, random test, random name. You never know. But doesn't seem so random when it happens to hit players who are having amazing seasons or, bursting onto the scene in a spectacular way during one single game. However, it has not been reported of any failure on behalf of JJ Watt. So I'm proud to say he will continue on and add to his stats. Let's just look at those really quick. For the season, 9.5 sacks. That's a lot. 19 hard hitting QB hits, 12 tackles for a spectacular loss, 6.5 stuffs, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 6 pass deflections. And that's within 13 games of the season that he has played. So kudos to JJ Watt. Glad he's on our side. Like I mentioned, I would not want to be on the other end of that freight train. I don't think you would either. There are going into this next game, there are some calls of foul saying the Cardinals are underdogs versus the Bucks in week 16. What do you think? I mean, the Bucks are hit and miss, to be honest with you, but so are the Cardinals. We are not playing at our best. We don't have Kyler Murray, but we do have a heck of a lot of other talented players. It's just who is at the helm is the big mystery. So I don't see any issue with calling the Cardinals underdogs when we're talking about betting lines. This is the final home game of the season, however, so you would think maybe they want to perform well at home. That hasn't been the case for the Cardinals at all. If you remember, we had been on, what was it, a 9 home game losing streak going into this season. So home or not, I don't know that matters. It definitely gives us a little more pride, a little more something to play for. And we'll be facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, who hasn't been doing so well himself. He has been quite the interception thrower. He's been sacked a lot. So coming up against our JJ Watt, the Watt, it's going to be tough for Tom Brady. So I hope that he's ready for that. That being said, if Tom Brady's getting sacked and or intercepted, if we are being sacked and or intercepted, we're looking at a pretty slow game. Probably a lot of field goals, to be honest. So they're looking at Cardinals plus 200. That means if you bet $100, you win $200. And the Bucks minus 250. If you're going to go that route, you are betting 250 to gain 100 on that. So I always like to stack those, make it feel a little more impactful. But yeah, that's the money line for you. If we want to go against the spread is 6. So the Bucks minus 6, the Cards plus 6. 6 is an interesting number because, we're looking at a touchdown apart. And I feel like that is just a really interesting spread between the Cardinals and the Bucks, but it could be exactly what I said. Nobody is envisioning this to be a high scoring game, but we could totally be wrong. The Cardinals are 6-8 against the spread, which is not that great, but it's way better than the Bucks, who are only 3-10 against the spread this season. So, do with that what you will. The over-under is 41.5, and the over and the under are 41.5. That means $110 on a bet of the over wins you another 100 if the two teams combine for 42 points or more. I know I have listeners who ask me a lot about the math of betting, so that's why I wanted to walk through that today. So shout out to my friend Rachel at Tootsie Pop. She, and some numbers, I don't know her exact handle off the top of my head, but Rachel, this one's for you. If you want to bet the under, same bet, $110 on the under, same outcome. You win $100 on top of your $110 bet if both teams combine for 41 or fewer points. So we're looking at either 42 or more on the over, 41 or fewer on the under. And in this case, the Cardinals are 8-6 for the over-under. The Bucks are 4-10. So I think this could work out well. I definitely feel like it's going to be the under. People say if you bet the under, you're asking for a boring game. I'm just asking for some money in my pocket. I don't know about you, but that's pretty much all I ask for. The last thing I kind of wanted to talk about was the Steve Keim little controversy happening. And we've got a quote that I really liked from a Cardinals fan that I follow on Twitter, Joanna Cardinals fan. Her handle is at Cards Fan Joanna, Joanna. She says there are two quotes that she had come across on Keim. And if you remember, he had put out a statement, the Cardinals had put out a statement that this is a health-related leave of absence. So Joanna came across these two quotes, one from Vance Joseph saying, "I have no reaction. I feel for Steve and wish him luck." Cliff Kingsbury said, "I'm disappointed for him. The love and respect I'll always have for him. ... It's not easy." Like, let that sink in for a second. Is this what you say when someone's leaving, like, on a health-related leave, that you're disappointed, that you feel for them and wish them luck, that it's not easy? It feels really odd, and that was what Joanna had called out in her tweet, and a lot of the replies agreed, one saying, that I've never been disappointed for someone in bad health. That was kind of my thought as well. And Joanna replied, "I have nothing to say," in quotes, is another thing. There's no empathy in their demeanor, which is odd if it was a sickness. Now, here on the flip side, somebody did call out that I was thinking the same thing, but then thought it could be medical, as in mental health, stress, or addiction. And that's very true, because it's difficult for a lot of people to relate to addiction as a health issue, as mental health as a health issue, and they very much are health issues, as addiction is a disease and needs treatment, and mental health needs treatment. So it's very possible that they just don't relate. They don't know quite what to say in these situations, but they certainly did let the cat out of the bag that it's not something like cancer, for instance. I don't think we'd be telling someone with cancer that we're disappointed in them. The other part of this that kind of struck me was when we had our friend Donnie Druin on the show, and he mentioned a rumor that had been printed in The Athletic that Steve Keim was actually involved in the Mexico scandal. And could these statements lead credence to that? Yes, I do feel like they could be read that way. I feel for Steve and wish him luck. I'm disappointed in him. It's not easy. It definitely adds fuel to the fire. I don't want to start rumors, but they're starting rumors themselves. They're making it pretty easy for rumors to be spread. So I wonder if we'll hear any more from the Cardinals on these weird statements on Steve Keim's health. The last topic today that I'll cover is the search for a head coach. So obviously, for months, all Cardinals fans have been speculating about who might be the next head coach of the Cardinals should the team move on from KK. And there's a lot of names being thrown around. However, the headline of this story in AZ Central is Arizona Cardinals head coaching job is not that attractive amid a tumultuous NFL season. Wow. So coming to coach for us is not that attractive. That is a hard pill to swallow, friends. I mean, it is for me. That feels really, really awkward to take in there. Carson Palmer shared his thoughts on a recent interview, saying that the coaching job was not that attractive right now. And he said, I don't know. They just resigned Steve Keim. They just resigned Cliff Kingsbury. I don't recall reading that we resigned Cliff Kingsbury. Is that a slip? I don't know. Now I want to go back and find more, but it's definitely not big news if they had. Getting back to the quote, Kyler Murray's coming back, Palmer said. I know every job in the NFL is attractive, but that's not that attractive of a job right now. If you fire Cliff, they've been recycling coaches every couple of years. I'd be shocked if they cleaned house, but it's not looking great, obviously, with Kyler's situation as well. I find it really interesting that he started by saying they just resigned Cliff and finishing saying, if you fire Cliff. I wonder if he caught himself. Maybe I'm reading into that too much, but yeah, former Pro Bowler quarterback Carson Palmer says not that attractive of a job right now. And you know what? I don't know if I blame him. We are kind of a hot mess right now, but it's time for a glow up, right? Let's see what we can do. Anyway, those are the headlines for this week. I hope you enjoyed my rambling. I will likely be taking just one podcast this week, taking a break for the second podcast this week to enjoy the holiday with my family. And I hope you do the same. Please share, like, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you're following on Twitter at SickPodKelly and me at Kelly Singh. That is not true. At Kelly in Phoenix. I am your host, Kelly Singh. That can be found at Kelly in Phoenix. And I would be happy to answer any of your questions, have any fun discussions about the Cardinals, and share your tweets on the show. Until next week, have a very, very happy holiday, and thanks for watching. Bye.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Kelly Singh on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.